Welcome back to Final Travesty 13.
Final Fantasy 13, and this time, folks, well, okay, a bit of an explanation, I guess, is in order since our audio quality sounds a lot better. Pedro, do you want to do the honors?
We had to redo this part because YouTube is a piece of shit.
Basically, folks, this is sort of our future counterparts.
Well, actually, no, hold on. Actually, to be fair, no, I'm mistaking things. I'm mistaking for this and right now. In this one, actually, you can blame it on me. I fucked up while rendering the part.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're still in Palumpolum, whatever, the
basically,
city.
I just show you the little entry of Yagrush, the general who kind of looks like Sephiroth. Don't bother,
Yeah.
he's not a character.
And
he's
yes, I probably already mentioned, but yes, his sword is actually called the Masamune, so it's canon that way.
You know, this
Even
game...
though it's a wakizashi, a short blade.
You know,
okay, everybody, this is ready because this is the part where, well, not now, but somewhere around this part, we're going to come across what is pretty much a big sum up of what is the basic formula for this game's script.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, it's kind of weird. Originally, this part is the one that nearly led me to a mental breakdown. Sort of a shame the audience can't see it, because instead now I'm much more renowned at this sort of thing, and we're in the point of time where I actually have hope for the Final Fantasy series, especially with Cloud making it into Smash and not Lightning.
Woo!
Hey, I wonder what Toriyama's reaction to that is.
Allow me, Joe, because I know what his reaction will probably be. But what is lightning? What is lightning? Lightning would be much better.
On the plus side, I have
Lightning is awesome. You must love her. We don't.
Yeah, agreed.
Again, Shiro, that's the whole point of the 13 sequels.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, Shiro, that's the point of the 13 sequels. Toriyama is determined to make us love lightning as much as he does.
Even though 13 Cubes, from what you told me, barely has her.
15 and the 7 remake were both taken away from him.
And trust me, Shiro. The ending of Lightning Returns is fucking tame compared to the rest.
Whoa, wait. The ending of Lightning Returns? I thought you said that was the worst thing ever.
No, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Then why are you saying that it's tame compared to the rest?
In terms of wanting us to like lightning. Like the rest was just tame compared to the Lightning Returns is the ultimate. Please love lightning.
Also, we're in a sewer level.
Then why did you...
Yes,
oh, never mind.
Surprisingly, this is not that bad of a sewer level.
Hey, it's actually somewhat interesting since
by the way, Drova, you see
Yeah.
that butterfly in the background, that orange thing in the background?
Oh yeah! If I didn't know better, I'd guess...
That's Carbuncle.
Let me guess, another Falcie, eh?
They're gonna
No, a bit of an explanation. Carbuncle in the Final Fantasy franchise is a cute cuddly furry green animal with a ruby in his head. Totally look like that thing in the background.
Totally.
Normally I'd be confused, but yeah, now I can confirm. Yeah, that looks nothing like Carbuncle. It feels good to actually know what I'm talking about with Final Fantasy now.
Yep.
And it only took me 1 year's worth of playing Final Fantasy games to get where I am.
Oh, wonderful.
Then again, I'm sort of like that.
I'm just so... again, it's interesting because...
Yes?
Actually, no, hold on. The game itself, I didn't bring it up, so...
Whoa.
Not many. Calm down there.
And you paused because...
Hello!
Basically, I was thinking of trying to skip the cutscene, but it's not an actual thing that can be skipped. So you know how it is. Every time there's something every time the game takes control away from me, my first instinct is to press start and see if I can skip it. Don't worry, that's the only time I do it in this part.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shit.
It's the sewer, Hope. What did you expect?
Wait, I thought this was the Falcie's lair. This is the sewer?
Technically, it's both, because carbuncles function, as we will say in a bit, is to provide food and discharge of whatever remains.
So he's a food stop and a toilet. Alright.
Yeah, kinda.
Sure, why not? Let's go with that.
That's one of our enemies.
Oh, this is one of my favorite cutscenes in terms of how stupid it is. Shiro is still there.
Yes.
Okay. But this is
Oh, goody.
quite.
It's this.
Actually, wait. Never mind. I don't think it's here yet. No, it's not. It's not here yet.
I
It's in
remember
the
this scene. This is the scene where I had quite a big something to make.
Hungry people make for angry people.
Yeah.
Wait,
right.
what? But wouldn't starving people be more better candidates for being angry because they'd be desperate?
Jova, the game clearly doesn't want us to fight Carbuncle, so we just put
So
something out
Carbuncle
of our asses.
is a Sanctum Falcie charge of food production station in Palumpolum, subterranean, whatever. Basically, it gives us our food. That's basically all you need to know.
No, it's not actually explain how it does. It just magically creates it.
Well, to be fair too, the whole magic, it's magic, we don't have to explain it thing, it pretty much is used throughout the entire series anyway, so it's not like...
I guess. Well, the problem is, this Final Fantasy tries to be more technological than magical, so...
True.
It's kind of like 8, you know. Whoa.
There's
Oh,
the fan.
hello. There's our guest star Falcie of the day.
Hiroi.
Yes? Yes?
Hey,
Yeah,
Shiroi, how you doing with that Falcie over there?
Huh?
We hear you're a fan again.
Yeah, again, I don't normally use the PC.
Oh wait, guys, okay, help me think of this. What's a fitting name for a Falcie that functions as air conditioning?
Pandemonium, like the Guardian Force from 8.
Yeah.
It's wind
See?
related.
Huh?
Yeah. honestly, yeah. I mean, honestly, if I had to pick between this game, you know, going for names based off of past creatures or just going more for puns, I go more for the puns since those would probably be at least more entertaining. Whereas, you know, with the legacy names being used, they aren't even attached to things that make sense.
Well, unfortunately, Trevor, we're not playing a level 5 game, so sorry.
Heck, not just a level 5 game, a Capcom game, or a Final Fantasy game that, you know, actually knew how to do story properly. You know, a competently written game.
They haven't had one of those in a long time.
Nope, not really, no. Fortunately, 15 is looking.
Promising.
Fortunately, 15 is looking to be.
To be honest, 14 story is actually good, but then again,
Actually,
it's
okay, yeah, actually, yeah, Teo's right, actually, in that regard. Again,
Yeah,
there's
14 is
there's-
kind of a different case, though, since that's an MMO. I mean, granted,
We've already
okay,
talked about
it's
this before.
technically a game, but yeah.
We've already talked about this before. What Lewis from Brain Scratch said. It should have been called Final Fantasy Online 1 and Final Fantasy Online 2. It should have been a separate series. A separate spin-off series.
Hey, wait a minute. Now that I think of it...
For the next fight.
yeah. You know, I
Go
think
ahead.
I just realized something.
What is it?
Having seen the Nintendo Direct, now that I think about it, when Lightning does that whole multi-slash in the air thing, isn't that kind of a rip-off of Omni-Slash?
Again, Jova, she's basically female Cloud, at least in this game.
Wow, she's even more of a rip-off of Cloud than Squall.
A brilliant character concept from on part of Mr. Toriyama. Take Cloud, change the hair, and place boobs. There you go.
Heck,
And
I'll give
also,
it-
that cape is so impractical.
I'll give...
Just gender swap.
Joba, or Pedro, since you're more Disney guys than I am, can you quote that scientist from The Incredibles?
which quote?
Well,
The
I'm more,
big bad caves are so impractical.
I'm more familiar with the
Nuggets!
Portuguese dub of that movie, so I'll leave that to Jova.
Nuggets!
I'm more used to the Portuguese dub of that movie, so I'll leave this to Jova because my
you love the
quote will
English.
But yeah, the moral is the
Oh no! I've seen the English
I
dub.
know what you're talking about.
I've seen what the English dub, Joe. It's just that I personally prefer the Portuguese dub
Fair enough.
because it's easier for basically it's the one I grew up with, shall we say?
Oh boy,
All right,
here
here
we
we
go.
go. Here we go.
Oh,
I have a
goody,
lot to
this
say
is
about
it.
this cutscene.
Yeah,
I
this
have
is the
to
scene
say
I also
here.
had something to say too.
Really,
But yeah.
we've relied on them.
I'll
our
say
whole
first since I'm
lives.
leading. Anyway,
The food we eat, the light and water, it's all from the Falcie.
So
Okay.
why are they a bad
We
thing?
are too stupid to do
was
on their
really
own.
built for them. The rest of us, we're just leeches.
No, you aren't.
and now lightning comes to the most amazing moment of
Realization.
really you're
Let me
just
hear
not
it. Let me hear it.
you're just not realizing this.
Normal people.
Oh.
Here we go.
They treat us like we're special. Almost like we're pets.
Oh.
Dirt face.
You're just now realizing this, Lightning. You're just now realizing this.
She's a bit dense, Pedro. You should know that.
Man, you're quick.
Oh yeah, never
She's
mind.
dense. She's dense.
Hey, here's something else. Objection! Yeah. Wait, no, I actually have to do this now that I've made it. It's like, okay, the story structure is pushed Lightning as the stalwart who will never, ever, ever, stray from her path. And her path was portrayed as right, to kill the Falcie. Yet, now, all of a sudden, she's like, oh no, let's not kill the Falcie. It's not like that contradicts with her character overall.
Actually, yeah, this cutscene is giving me another realization to myself, too. New theory.
What?
Ever since the Falcie back in chapter 1 removed chapter 2 actually. Ever since that Falcie in chapter 2 branded everybody, it also removed all of their brains. So that's
except
the
for
explanation.
Saz's, since he's kind of smart after it.
Yeah,
still.
and Snow was an idiot even back then, so.
Nothing else was real.
But yeah,
Let's just treat it as the Black Wave from Act of God.
And you hope.
yeah. Anywho, but yeah.
Yes. Explain the emotional subtext of this scene because I'm so
Also,
stupid.
she's just realized she has trained a little child to be a killer machine.
By the way, get used to this because Lightning Returns script is basically this over and over. There's a character in Lightning Returns called Lumina, who her only purpose
You told me to fight.
I made a mistake.
melodrama.
How could this happen to me?
You can't just build something up.
This is.
Abandon me.
I actually hope has a point.
Yeah.
I won't abandon you.
Yeah.
Well, at least Lightning is has some redeeming qualities to her. At least she wasn't abandoned. Actually, no, wait, she was about to abandon Hope back a few chapters back. So never mind. This is just inconsistent writing. Never mind.
Also, that frame rate.
So, yeah, objection, but, okay, yeah, like you pointed out, not only was Lightning willing to abandon Hope, but for pretty much the entire story, her entire thing is to, hey, go against the Falcie. And now all of a sudden she's realized that, okay, this is exactly what the Falcie wants.
Now what?
But now she's just going on a completely different path. I mean, she doesn't seem to even have any idea of what she's...
I was told that Lightning would barely be in this game, and now we're stuck with her.
Shiro, that's 13-2. You're mixing up things.
I didn't mean we should give up.
Oh.
Then what battles do we fight? And against who? Tell me that.
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
You don't know
Yes.
yet.
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
This is amazing. The shitty
Yes.
writing is so shitty, it actually becomes the villain of the game.
I
The
know.
game? I don't know. The writer won't tell us. Not only is the player left completely adrift and helpless because the game doesn't explain a goddamn thing to us, it doesn't even
Oh,
explain
Spoonie,
anything
how
to
I
the
miss
fucking
you.
characters. The story is so poorly told, even the characters are complaining about it.
That's right. I don't know yet.
And that's pretty much again that moment right there. The I don't know yet moment is so perfect. Like Final Fantasy 14 in 5 seconds, and just put in that scene. Like it's literally that. That's the whole game in a nutshell. The characters
You will never know.
I was
that's the whole game in a nutshell. The characters complaining about how they don't have no idea what's going on.
My parents died. I had to
My
be strong for
parents
Sam,
are
so I thought I needed to forget my past. And I became Lightning.
Wait a minute.
I thought that by changing my name, I could change who I was.
That's not how it works.
I'm kind of a moron like that.
Lightning. It flashes bright. Then
There you
fades
go,
away.
Java. There's your explanation for why she
And
changed her
yet
name
it
to
strikes
Lightning.
again
It
3
only destroys.
times. What was that thing about lightning never striking twice?
I
That's
don't know.
And yet it'll strike 2 more
anyway-
times after this.
Anyway, just to finish what I was talking about earlier.
But I wouldn't
There's a character in Lightning Returns called Lumina, and her entire role in that game is to basically spell out why you're supposed to be sad about things.
Yes.
Oh, great, Lumina. Seriously, now they're referencing Brave Fencer Musashi?
Actually, you wish, Jova. You wish.
Well, they obviously are. It's a Square game. I mean, are there any other games where they mention
Well,
Lumina?
technically speaking, Pedro, the 13.2 references both Chrono Trigger and Legend of Mana, so yeah, I can definitely Toriyama trying to sound clever by referencing random stuff. But...
The only one who believed her was Snow.
Yeah, and that's terrible.
Don't say his name.
Think.
It brings everything back.
Wait a minute.
I keep playing it in my head. What happened to her? And then I see his stupid face and...
I know, it's just like me. Like when I see his no face smiling, I just want to punch him until he's dead.
Yeah, me too.
Still a better character than Lightning at this point.
No matter what happens, she's not
Don't
coming back.
worry, Jova, the game will...
Again, it depends. Again, we've already talked about this. It depends. It depends on which kind of character you hate most. For Jova,
and Pedro, ultimately, aside from Zads, ultimately all the party members are bad or stupid in one way.
I know what I mean is
and from what you guys have told me, I mean, ultimately, from what you guys have told me, ultimately Snow ends up being a better character than Lightning in 13.2 and Returns.
Yeah, in Lightning Returns, I actually liked him in Lightning Returns, but I'll give him credit there. He was actually
not so much, but Lightning Returns, yes.
Yes.
So,
okay. Even Teo's giving credit. So just to give an idea.
So yeah, I think I've just noticed one of the biggest contradictions of this entire goddamn story.
Only now?
No,
man, you're quick. You're about as dense as lightning.
No, Pedro, I'm not talking about that contradiction.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Objection! Okay, actually, this contradicts the story's entire theme when you think about it. I mean, the entire theme has been about the story... Yes, there is. From what the story's theme has been so far is that basically it's a story about, well, as cliched as it is, redemption, finding oneself and finding one's other path. But here's the contradiction. The fact that Lightning was technically sort of on the right path from the beginning, but now she sort of has strayed from it.
Not really. If I recall correctly, they shown, thanks to the flashback to her 13 days off by now, that she wasn't happy with her soldier's life. She was doing so just for her and Sarah to survive or something.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about flashbacks stuff. I'm talking about the actual game story. I mean, let's think about it. I mean, okay, we don't quite know it yet, but I mean, well, you know, the Falcie are the bad guys, obviously. Lightning has something of an idea to go against them, but now all of a sudden she's going to go the route that will sort of take them away from their goals whatsoever. I mean, now because she has an epiphany, which is sort of seems rather fake because it doesn't seem to help the story whatsoever. Not to mention the fact that, what exactly does this change of hers help exactly? It hasn't done anything. It hasn't cleared up Hope's misinformation about wanting to kill Snow. It hasn't really accomplished anything whatsoever. In fact, it hasn't helped Lightning accomplish anything yet. All we've seen is her just give it a giant speech and then turn around and do nothing. I mean, seriously, in an RPG like this, you need to have, often the idea is to have a big event occur because of the character's revelation. I can find... Yeah.
Don't worry.
Hold on, Pedro, let me finish. It's like, well, for example, in Final Fantasy VII, when we got the big turnabout with Cloud finally finding himself, we got a big effect out of that, and there was actual sporadic change. But with Lightning, it's merely cosmetic. We're only told that she's changed. We don't really see anything that actually proves it, which again contradicts the story's theme of redemption because, honestly, she's still going the same route, obviously.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe Toriyama only wants us to see the cosmetic.
It's well, that's because, Jova, there's Toriyama's modus operandi when it comes to writing. He cannot actually build up plots or develop characters naturally.
Guys, you wanted to keep a low profile, you might want to stay out of a public plaza.
Yes, I agree.
but don't you know,
Jova,
Tio,
he
this looks
cannot
great for
actually
the tech
develop.
demo.
He cannot actually develop characters, Jova. So he has to reset them. Basically, okay. Here's Toriyama's idea of a story of redemption, aka, or shall we say, Lightning's redemption. She starts out all bitchy, and then all of a sudden, for no reason, she immediately becomes nice now. That's how his writing works. He cannot actually make the character, develop naturally. So he has to just be stupid about it.
Yeah. Also, Pedro, since we technically have seen the ending, I'm not going to spoil what happens to the audience, but can I point out a few contradictions that also show just how linear of a path this is of Lightning's, and even in story, I'm actually not talking about the gameplay.
That's like 30 seconds they had the opportunity to shoot them and they didn't. Oh my god.
It's like, knowing what's going to happen later.
Remember, Theo, there's no such thing as a clever mook.
Yeah.
I guess, but that makes even Yak an incompetent villain. Also, yay, Snow is the one that tries to save the situation. That's what we needed.
Nah, he's doing a better job of it than Lightning. Hey, no, that's the thing. It's like, well, yeah, going back to what I was saying, Snow has actually done a better job of actually developing as a character so far. Yeah, of course he's an idiot, but at least we've seen proper backstory, showing how he got to where he is now, and also seeing him adapt to the situation. He hasn't adapted to it to the best. I know.
And even so, just through Deus Ex Machina.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is like, well, even Snow has done a better job of actually, showing us an actual path story as opposed to our supposed main hero here. And again, with the theme of redemption, again, knowing what's going to happen in the future, we know that even Snow has a better idea of redemption than Lightning. In fact, I dare say Lightning's possibly the only character who doesn't really find redemption. Because, yes, I know about the cutscene that's in the future, but that doesn't count because...
Don't worry.
Yeah, Pedro.
Don't worry, Jova. That's what the ending of Lightning Returns is for, supposedly.
Lightning!
So let me get this straight, Pedro. They stretch out Lightning's...
And that's Tio's opinion on that game.
So let me get this straight, Pedro. They finally get to addressing the theme of this story in the third game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorta. Well, if there's one thing... to give Lightning Returns some credit, it actually answers all the questions we might have. The problem is the questions are still shitty, so the answers will be shitty.
Okay,
I
me just
actually
out of
answer
the
something?
Way.
Oh boy.
Allow me to get,
Wait,
by the way,
what?
allow me to get your differences out of right now. Again, it boils down to... again, Shiroi, they are stupid. Anyway, the point is... okay, it comes across to from what I've known about you guys, it's basically it goes like this. Teo, the kind of character Teo hates the most is the completely moronic guy. So obviously Snow is his most hated character. Jova, however,
I'd actually argue that Lightning's even dumber than Snow.
Jova, however, what ticks him off most is not so much stupidity, but being just a plain-out hypocrite and stuff like that, which is why he hates Jody so much.
Actually, Pedro, I also hate stupidity. I mean, honestly, I know Snow's stupid, but I actually argue that Lightning's even more stupid. If just for scenes like the one we just saw, at least Snow actually got his epiphanies without having to stare right to the goddamn eyes of the
Not
Falcie.
really. I mean, he only whined, and then the Shiva sisters popped up.
No. I mean, Okay. I mean, okay, let me put it like this. Snow at least had a better idea of what was going on, and he's been a lot more proactive than Lightning, who has accomplished nothing whatsoever.
Not really. He has only tried to dig Sarah from their frozen top.
Well, he did also do the whole rebellion thing. Yes, I know that failed, but he actually seems to have
By the way, I would like to bring up something about this particular battle.
Oh yeah, this actually seems awesome.
This particular battle is bullshit. Because you have to kill all the enemies using the summon. Because if you don't, you'll have to fight all of the enemies on your own, which is literally impossible to beat with just Snow alone. So,
wait, don't you just mess
so you have to kind of get lucky there.
Wait, you have to get lucky? What happened to just
mashing
X?
What you just saw is
That's the problem, Pedro. Jova. So far, we haven't actually had the opportunity to level up Snow. So yeah.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened for me. Unlike a good game, like Tales of Grace's F, which gives us, which specifically opens up the menu so that we can, do some final preparations for a particularly tough battle. This
make
game,
sense.
I had to specifically, I'd lost the first time with that battle. Then the game brought me to the menu where I could actually level up Snow, and then I managed to win. So yeah, great game design, right, Theo?
Yeah.
So yeah, this game is so focused on telling a story that, you know, characters who you haven't been able to play as for so long in the game aren't even properly leveled up for fights.
To honestly, playing a bit of Devil that way, it's not the first time it has ever happened in an RPG. There are plenty of cases where it's just bad programming. It's just one fault that Final Fantasy XIII has amongst the others, but it's not something the first time it happened.
And yes, audience, for anyone with a question, go on.
Okay, There's one particular moment in Tales of Grace's F that I'm sure Tail will remember, that where we have to fight 2 bosses in a row, and between bosses, the game actually allows you to go to the menu and, you know, make preparations so that you know.
Yeah.
And yes, audience, for those wondering, yes, I have gotten around to playing Final Fantasy XIII now that I've actually seen it all the way through. And no, I didn't buy it. Heck no. I'm borrowing it.
You don't want to give Toriyama the satisfaction of buying the game.
Did you play the Steam version, which is in 60 frames per second?
Yes, because Steam allows you to now borrow or, you know, like, well, you know how Steam's doing that whole share games thing?
Yeah, the share thing, I know.
Huh, interesting.
Yep. I have a friend of mine who actually got Final Fantasy XIII back in the day because, well, he thought he'd give 13 a try on PC.
Well, for me, when it comes to this channel, I'm gonna be doing obviously the PS3 versions because honestly, I don't really see how these games don't really benefit all that much from 60 frames anyway. So who cares?
Modding, but
it's not a big deal.
Who that cares about modding?
I mean, something like an action game like 15 that would definitely benefit, but this game in particular, these games in particular, not really. You know, they're slow battle systems, so whatever.
Automated, slow battle systems.
Anyway, basically now we're stuck with...
But Jova, don't you see? You get to see all the cool visuals in 60 frames per second.
Insert the 30 frames per second is more cinematic quote.
That's true, actually, yeah. Like, one thing that I don't like about games in 60 frames per second is when the game is story-driven. Like, for example, I have Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes for the PS4, and they're in the PS4 versions are in 60 frames, whereas the PS3 versions are in 30. I kind of wish they pulled The Last of Us Remastered and gave us an ability to cap the level at 30, because seeing cutscenes in 60 frames per second in video games, honestly, it kind of feels off to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to it.
I can see where you're coming from. Granted, I myself am okay with seeing this stuff in 60 frames per second, but I can definitely see where you're coming from. Speaking as a guy who's seen...
I'm used to 30. We didn't get 60 for years.
I really don't mind either way.
It reminds me of... It reminds me of this time when I was visiting my uncle and aunt down in Arizona, and we were watching Independence Day on their HD TV, and their HD TV could play in, like, well, 60 or something frames, but yeah, it was a bit weird.
Oh, it's like Pedro when you got to see The Hobbit Part 1.
Luckily, yeah. Although the difference is that with The Hobbit, that's over 60 frames per second from what I... Oh, no. That's 45, I think
48.
you told me. Yeah, 48.
48.
Yeah, 48 is wonky.
24.
It's like, well, honestly, if they were going to do a higher frame rate, they should have just gone with 60 because, well, anything in between 30 or 60 is going to be, for lack of a better term, chaotic because you're constantly swapping between them. And you need to round it to it, because in the heck of 30 frames, yes, cinematic, and 60 frames, that's the full-on flow action. But if you get anything between, you're gonna get a
I'm not even kidding, Teo.
You're gonna have a bad time.
I'm not even kidding, Teo. This game looks better than the CGI in The Hobbit. I'm not even kidding. And again, I'm talking about the high frame rate version.
You're joking, right?
Yes, I'm serious, Shiroi, because I can't speak for the normal frame rate version because I haven't seen that one, but the version I saw was the 3D IMAX 48 frames per second version because I was curious about the high frame rate, because The Hobbit was the first movie ever to use the higher frame rate. So I was curious about it, so I went to see it. I don't like Lord of the Rings, but I think, okay, I'm actually curious about the high frame rate, so I'll also go see it for the high frame rate. and I was blown away by how horrible everything looked.
Hey, Pedro.
Like, for example, Shiva, there would be a scene where it's supposed to be a waterfall, and all I would see is a painted blue wall. Like, seriously, I could not believe what I was seeing, and I could not for the life. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up The Hobbit, because, like, well, it's funny. The Lord of the Rings has the, Lord of the Rings has the excuse for having free films because it's based on free big books, but I cannot believe that with The Hobbit. The Hobbit is a short book, and yet they managed to stretch The Hobbit.
Well, that's a different topic to the frame rate.
Well, let's just bring it up though. Okay. You know how you hate Peter Jackson's thing for stretching things out? He managed to stretch out The Hobbit, which was one single book, into 3 ginormous movies.
Just lay low.
It's Peter Jackson, Jova. What did you expect? That's what he does.
But with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, he had excuse because he was staying faithful to the books. But with The Hobbit, how do you even drag that book out? That book's not even that big. It's one single one.
Smiling.
All right. Well, of course he's smiling, Hope. He's upbeat.
It's time to kill someone.
Anyway, to cap things up, the snow is...
sorry, Shiroi.
Hope and Fang is stuck with lightning.
If it's any consolation, Shiroi, according to Dwibs, we can beat up lightning in this city, huh?
Yeah, Shiroi, how are we supposed to force you to like lightning over the course of 3 games if we kill her? Sorry, we can't do that.
Just remember, Shiroi, Cloud's the one that Nintendo asked for, not lightning. Just remember that, and you should be A-okay.
Thank you.
Well, that's because of the ballot, not because so much... Anyway.
We don't actually know if it was the ballot.
Actually, Pedro, there's more to suggest it wasn't from the ballot, since, they would have told us if it was from the ballot. But honestly, Cloud's sort of like the Mario of Final Fantasy, so it makes sense he'd be in there. Not to mention that this also founds the fears
Ladies and gentlemen,
this scene.
not to me, the only decent good people in this entire game. The nameless soldiers, the mooks. So let's pay attention. These are the best characters in the game.
Whatever it takes to
But because they don't talk?
No, just
no,
you'll see.
You'll see.
You want to start a war in the streets?
Oh my god, he has a point.
The collateral we're talking about is unacceptable.
The mooks are the one caring about the collateral.
You're menacing gun soldiers with a knife.
Shoot him.
It's not us.
They actually care for the people.
Of course, there we go. Those are the best. Can we make a game? Can the game be about those mooks? I like them. Can we focus on them, please?
We'll meet at Hope's place.
I hear you on that.
35A.
Right. See you there.
But yeah, anywho, with Cloud being introduced in Smash, never mind. I'll talk later.
I love what Fang said about that phone thing they're using. It's hyper. The line is hyper encrypted. See, it's not just encrypted. It's hyper encrypted. Whatever the hell that means.
Listen to me.
Techno babble, I guess.
His mother was...
It's me.
Oh boy.
Oh shit! Skype is going.
Hey, Lightning. Do you know when they had Lightning? Do you know when you had that epiphany? Why didn't you tell Hope that it was a bad idea to kill Snow when you had the chance?
I'm sorry, Java. I love that line that she says. Yelling is not going to help. It's called interference. That's pretty much us with Skype. Yeah.
Well, everyone that uses Skype has this problem once in a while.
Yeah.
All right, we're playing as Fang. However, I'll get into Fang in the next part because this part is pretty much over. Yeah, we're done.
Done.
See ya.